What's going on, everybody? Car Guy here, and today we're going to get my 1980 Corvette running for the first time in what I believe to be about 10 years. And it turns out the engine is not the factory 305 because this is a California special Corvette. So a 1 year only 305 vet, but it turns out this is a crate 350 just like I thought. Looks to be just a little Goodwrench 195 260 horse version. 195, you know, if you've got all the accessories and factory exhaust. 260 if you've got nothing on it basically but headers and, you know, a good intake and carb. But first we're going to pre-lube the engine, spray oil down all the cylinders, make sure it turns over all right. Going to put a fresh carburetor on it, one I know is good, and then we're going to make a simple fuel system, and it should fire up today. I'm confident that it will. The engine has almost no miles on it, so hopefully the cam was broken in. I know it has run, but we're just going to treat it like it's ran in the past. So let's see what we got. First off, I'm going to pull out all the spark plugs. It's got factory manifolds, so it's not quite as easy as headers in my opinion, but still not hard. See if I can get these boots off without them breaking. All right, that's one. That's two. So I'm curious to see what they look like, see if this thing's been ran very much. This is cylinder 2 right here. Let's see, I've almost got it out. Oh yeah, that's been ruined some, look at that. Either that or he put used spark plugs in, so I'm confident I won't need to break any cam or anything with this one. Let me just put this up. I hate to put that on the T-top. I'll just set it here for now while I grab the other plug. I want to get a paint pen too. I'm going to mark each one of these plug wires because they're all ran behind the car, or behind the engine I mean. So I want to make sure I get them back where they go without having to reroute everything, if that makes sense. Need to vacuum off that intake too. Yep, same thing on this plug. All the passenger plugs are out, and that side's already fogged with some fogging oil. The driver's side's more fun though, because I've got to take off this emissions piping here to get to them. As you can see, to get to it from the top, I got to do that. Luckily, they're all pretty loose and none of them are rusted on, so I'll just pop that off. Then I'll be able to get all these out just like the other side. All the plugs are out. The hardest part was actually taking off this EGR setup right here. That wasn't a whole lot of fun at cylinder 7. But all the cylinders have fogging oil blown down them. You see I have a couple of spark plugs that have a little rust on them. I don't like that, but these all look very used, so he might have just thrown these in. You never know. I did find cylinder 5 and cylinder 7 had the spark plug wires backwards, so I did find that. I'll fix that before I put it all back together. So usually I don't remove all the spark plug wires, but this time I am, because 5 and 7 were backwards and cylinder 1 was over here or there maybe, which isn't typically how you set up an HEI. So I'm actually removing them. I'm going to make 100% sure I have all the plug wires on right before firing it up for the first time. I'm about to pull the distributor. I'm also going to retime it just to make sure it was done right, which at this point, from what I'm seeing, it probably wasn't. Almost got the bolt out. Come on. Probably do it by hand now, maybe. almost. Set these to the side. All right, let's pull it out. I need to disconnect on the other side too. Forgot to pull out all the wires. I don't have a flathead handy. A little bug's nest right there. Looks to be in decent shape. The coil, he's got the bolts halfway out on the coil, at least the coil cover on the top. Got this over here. At this moment, there was just a few things left to do on this engine. First, I pre-lubed it. Then I put a wrench on the crankshaft bolt, and that's when I learned something very unfortunate about this Crate 350. Unfortunately, this motor is seized. I was a little worried when I saw the spark plugs with the rust on the end, but I hadn't lost hope yet. The engine was stored just with duct tape over the intake manifold, so I'm guessing moisture got down in it somehow. I had a breaker bar on the crank. I was to the point where I was afraid I was going to strip the crank bolt, and I definitely don't want to do that, so I pulled off. I even tried to use its starter, still wouldn't do anything. A buddy of mine came out, and we both came to that same conclusion, that this motor is seized, which is unfortunate. I really thought that I'd be able to get it going with relative ease, but that was not the case. Still, the deal on this Corvette was incredible, so all hope is not lost. I'll show y'all what I have planned, but unfortunately this project will be pushed onto the back burner, considering I've still got a little bit to do on the Camaro, but it's basically done. My 79 is in the garage, about to get another engine, so this one will at least be after the 79, but I'll show y'all what we could do with it and see what y'all think. Option number one. This is a TBI crate motor that I have. It's got 40,000 miles on the bottom end, a Wee and Street Warrior intake, TBI heads, and a Summit 1785 cam, I believe it is. It's a pretty stout little engine. Should make about 250, 260 horse and about 300, 350 foot-pounds, something like that. Nothing crazy, but it'd be more horsepower than that Corvette came with stock by far. And I don't want to use this one. The reason being, it's not drilled for a mechanical fuel pump. My machine shop can do that, but it requires disassembling the engine. And this one's already a pretty good little engine. So this is the backup for my Camaro if I ever blow that 355 up and just need something to drive it around with. So that leaves us with option number two. Option number two. This is a 357 small block Chevy. It's got 40 over flat tops, flat tappet cam, mechanical fuel pump. I'm not going to use this cam. I've got some retrofit roller lifters, so I'm probably going to use an extreme 4x4 cam because they're relatively low lift. They have a slightly rough idle, nothing crazy, but I'd want to use that because I'm going to use the 898 heads that are on the Corvette because they're already in almost perfect condition. They look almost new, and I know I haven't seen the combustion chambers yet, but that's the current plan. So I think that ought to give me somewhere in the ballpark of mid 200s horsepower. If I'm lucky, maybe a little bit more just because of the cam, but it won't be anything crazy. But with that 4x4 cam, it'll be perfect for the highway gears on the Corvette, because if you're not going to have a bunch of top end power, you might as well have a good amount of low end torque to get you off the line. So guys, this video didn't go how I wanted it to, but all hope is not lost. What do y'all think about this plan? Let me know in the comments. Thank y'all for watching.